The $300 prepper bag in your garage is not going to save your life. It's going to get you killed. That tactical branded bug-out bag you ordered online, the one with the mole webbing and the camo print and the 60-piece tactical survival system inside, is a liability dressed up as preparedness. The prepper industry is not selling you survival. It's selling you the feeling of survival. And the feeling and the function are two completely different products. Here's what veterans actually carry. Here's what military field doctrine has taught for decades. The trained operator carries less, not more. Strip away the marketing, strip away the aesthetics, strip away the tactical font, and you're left with a brutal truth most preppers will never accept. One item on this list costs under $2 and outperforms every gadget in a $300 kit. 10 items, $20, one Walgreens run. Complete 72-hour survival capability built on the same framework taught in military survival schools. Before any item, before any purchase, you need the framework. The rule of threes. You can survive 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in harsh conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Notice what isn't on that list. Tactical knives, MREs, paracord bracelets, folding shovels. The number one killer in every documented survival scenario is not starvation. It is not dehydration, it is exposure, thermoregulation failure, your core temperature drops, your decision-making collapses, your motor skills fail, and you die. Hurricane after-action reports confirm it. Winter storm fatality data confirms it. Urban displacement event documentation confirms it. Shelter first, water second, fire third, signaling fourth. Everything else is a luxury. The $300 prepper bag inverts this priority list completely. It's loaded with food pouches and tactical gadgets while under-delivering on the one thing that kills you in 3 hours. That's not preparation, that's product design optimized for shelf appeal. Here's what actually works, and you can buy every piece tonight at Walgreens. Item 1. Heavy-duty trash compactor bags. $3 for a pack. This is the single most undervalued survival item in existence, and almost no commercial kit includes it. Cut a hole in the bottom and 2 on the sides, and you have an emergency poncho. Climb inside without cutting it, and you have a vapor barrier shelter. Military field manuals document the vapor barrier principle in detail. Your body radiates heat. A plastic barrier traps that radiated heat against your skin. Field testing shows a 10 to 15 degree Fahrenheit interior temperature gain from this method alone. That is the difference between functional and hypothermic. Lay it flat on the ground, you have a moisture barrier between you and the earth. Ground conduction pulls heat out of your body faster than air does. Most people insulate on top and freeze from below. Spread it open during rain and you have a water collection surface. 1 bag, 5 functions: shelter, rain protection, ground cloth, water collection, gear waterproofing. The commercial bivvy sack that does the same thing costs $40 to $60. You're paying $3, that's your first lesson in cost per function. Running total, $3. Item 2, 2 Bic Classic lighters, $2 each. There's a reason every military survival instructor on the planet carries a Bic and not a ferro rod. 3,000 ignitions per unit, one-handed operation. Works when your hands are shaking from cold and adrenaline. Works when fine motor skills have degraded. Works in rain if you shield the striker for half a second. The ferro rod that prepper YouTube pushes requires technique. It requires practice. It requires 2 hands and controlled motion. Under survival stress, fine motor skills are the first thing to go. Your hands shake, your coordination drops. The trained response to this is not practice more with your ferro rod. The trained response is to carry ignition that eliminates technique from the equation. A Bic is that ignition. 2 lighters means redundancy. 1 fails, you have a backup. 6,000 total ignitions between them. That's months of daily fire starting capability. The tactical fire starter crowd is paying $15 to $30 for less capability that demands more skill. Running total, $7. Item 3, Mylar emergency blankets, 2-pack, $3. These are not comfort items, they are engineered radiant heat reflectors. Aluminized Mylar reflects up to 90% of your radiated body heat back to you. That's not marketing, that's physics. Wrap one around yourself inside your trash bag shelter, and you have a layered thermoregulation system. The bag traps convective heat, the Mylar reflects radiant heat. Together they address the 2 primary mechanisms of heat loss in the field. Lay one on the ground under you, you've blocked conductive heat loss into the earth and added a radiant barrier below. Hang one behind a small fire. It becomes a heat reflector that bounces thermal energy back toward you. Your fire is now heating you from 2 directions. Use the reflective surface as a daylight signal mirror, and rescue aircraft can spot reflected light from miles away. 4 functions, $3. The branded survival blanket that does the same thing costs $12 to $20. Same Mylar, different sticker, running total, $10. Item 4, travel pack of unlubricated condoms, $3. Here's where the untrained mind checks out and the trained mind pays attention. Every military survival manual documents the condom as a field expedient water carrier. One standard condom inside a sock holds approximately 1 liter of water. It's a collapsible, packable, waterproof container that weighs nothing and takes up 0 space. You can carry a liter from a water source back to your shelter without any rigid container. Try that with a $12 collapsible bottle that still takes up space in your pack. But water carrying is just one function. Stretch one over a Tinder bundle and you have a waterproof storage bag for matches, medication, or electronics. Unlubricated is critical. Lubricated condoms contaminate water and ruin Tinder. The reason this item appears in military manuals and almost 0 commercial kits is simple. It doesn't look tactical, it doesn't photograph well for a product listing. It doesn't fit the aesthetic the survival industry sells, but it works. The people designing commercial kits designed for shelf appeal. The people who wrote the field manuals designed for people who needed to not die. Running total, $13. Item 5, water purification tablets, $5. Sodium dichloroisocyanurate or iodine-based tablets are the field standard. 1 tablet treats 1 liter, drop it in, wait 30 minutes, drink. The chemistry eliminates bacteria, viruses, and most protozoan cysts. Same chemical purification used in military field water treatment. No pumping, no batteries, no moving parts, no skill required. The commercial alternative is a $30 to $50 pump or straw filter that can clog, crack, freeze, and break at the worst possible time. Filters require maintenance, they require back flushing, they require replacement cartridges. Tablets require you to drop one in water and wait. Combined with the trash bag for collection and the condom for transport, you now have a complete water procurement system. Collection, transport, purification, 3 items, $11. The commercial water system that covers those same 3 functions starts at $60. Running total, $18. Stop here, $18 in. You have shelter, thermoregulation, fire, water collection, water transport, water purification, and signaling all covered. 6 of the 7 core survival functions handled by 5 items. The $300 prepper bag covers those same functions with 30 items, half of which you've never tested and never will. You're doing more with less. That's not a budget hack. That's how trained people operate. Item 6, mini sewing kit, $1. Don't skip this one. The obvious function is gear repair. Your trash bag tears, you patch it. Your clothing rips, you close it. Thread and needle keep your shelter and insulation systems functional when they take damage. But here's what most people miss. Military field manuals document the magnetized needle compass. Stroke the needle against fabric or hair in one direction repeatedly. This aligns the magnetic domains in the steel. Float it on a leaf in still water or suspend it from a thread, and it points north. You now have a backup compass that costs you nothing extra. The heavy thread doubles as fishing line, snare cord for small game, and lashing for improvised splints. The needle pulls splinters and field debris from wounds. Every function here is a secondary capability hiding inside a $1 item. Compare that to the $15 survival card with worse versions of every function. Running total, $19. Item 7, compact roll of duct tape, $2. You don't need a full roll. Wrap 30 to 40 turns around a pencil or a lighter to save space. Duct tape is a field medical kit, a structural repair system, and an improvised cordage source in one adhesive package. Wound closure, butterfly a strip across a laceration to hold the edges together. It's not sutures, but in the field it's functional wound closure that stops bleeding and keeps debris out. Blister treatment, cover a hot spot before it becomes a blister and you stay mobile. The moment you can't walk, your situation degrades fast. Mobility is survival, splinting. Tape a rigid stick alongside a broken finger or sprained wrist, and you've immobilized the injury. Shelter repair, Mylar tears in the wind, you patch it, cut it into thin strips, and you have improvised cordage for lashing. The civilian approach is buying a $10 paracord bracelet rated to 550 pounds that actually snaps at 80. Real duct tape and heavy thread give you tested function instead of marketing-rated fiction. Running total, $21, and we're going to claw that back. Item 8, Pay attention to this one, travel-size petroleum jelly. Under $1, this is the sub-$2 item teased at the beginning. The single most multifunctional budget survival item that almost nobody carries. Take a cotton ball, smear petroleum jelly into it, light it with your Bic. It burns for 3 to 4 minutes. Not seconds, minutes, a steady, reliable flame hot enough to ignite wet tinder, damp kindling, and marginal fuel that would never catch from a bare spark. This is the fire-starting technique taught in survival schools. Not ferro rods, not magnesium blocks, a petroleum jelly cotton ball and a lighter. In cold rain, in high wind, when everything around you is soaked, this combination gives you fire, and fire gives you everything. Warmth, water purification through boiling, signaling, morale. The psychological difference between having fire and not having fire in a survival scenario is documented and massive. But fire starting is just one function. Apply it to your feet before a long movement and it reduces friction and prevents blisters before they start. Apply it to a wound as a moisture barrier to keep debris out. Use it on dry, cracked skin in cold weather to prevent fissures that become infection entry points. Use it as a lubricant for any mechanical application in the field. One item, 5 functions, under $1. Name one product in any commercial survival kit that delivers 5 functions for under $1. You can't, because the survival industry doesn't optimize for function per dollar, it optimizes for shelf appeal per dollar. Running total, $22. Item 9, single-edge razor blades, 5-pack, $2. A razor blade gives you surgical precision cutting that no survival knife matches for detail work. Processing tinder into fine shavings that catch flame instantly. Cutting medical tape and bandaging to exact size. Precision work on cordage and snare construction. Cleaning small game, scoring small wood for kindling. The commercial alternative is a $25 to $40 survival multi-tool that weighs 12 ounces and gives you a mediocre blade, pliers you'll rarely use, and a can opener for cans you're not carrying. You're not replacing a knife. You're adding a precision edge that weighs almost nothing. Wrap the blade spine in duct tape from item 7 for a safe handle, and you have a functional micro-cutting tool that fits in a wallet. Running total, $24, but our last item is going to bring this in at Target. Item 10, cotton bandana, under $2, often $1 at Walgreens. This is the highest function count item in the entire kit. 7 documented uses from a single piece of cotton. Pre-filter for water, fold it into layers and pour collected water through it before chemical treatment. It removes sediment and particulates that make purification tablets work harder. Pressure dressing, fold it thick, press it against a wound, tie it in place. You have a functional compression bandage. Dust mask, fold it triangular and tie it behind your head. Wildfire smoke, structural collapse dust, airborne debris in a storm, sun protection, drape it over your neck and head. Prevent sunburn that compounds dehydration, signal flag, tie it to a stick and wave it. Pot holder. Grab hot rocks for a warming setup near your shelter. Bundle carrier. Wrap your smaller items in it for organized transport. 7 functions for $2. The commercial equivalents of those functions bought separately would cost over $30. A purpose-built trauma bandage alone costs $8. Final running total, roughly $20 to $22 depending on local pricing and any store brand swaps. $20, 10 items. Shelter, water, fire, signaling, medical, repair, every core survival function covered. The entire kit fits in a cargo pocket. Not a backpack, a pocket. 60 to 70 items from a commercial $300 kit replaced by 10 items that each do 3 to 7 jobs. Every single piece available at Walgreens tonight. No specialty stores, no prepper websites, no waiting for shipping. You walk in, you buy 10 things, you walk out prepared. 100% of your kit tested by you because you built it yourself. Compared to an estimated 50% functional rate in untested commercial kits gathering dust in garages across the country. The people who survive aren't the ones who spent the most. They're the ones who understood the problem. You now understand the problem? Go build the kit.